This is a Hangout on air, John Reed and Roger Chessell, to discuss my, John Reed's, photographs at Challenge 19. Hi, Roger.
Hello, John. How's things?
Pretty hectic. I'm having huge trouble remembering how to drive the Google mechanism, but we'll see how we go.
Okay.
You've actually looked through my photos already, I think, have you not?
Not specifically. I can't say other than when they were presented onto Bob's site.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's okay. I was just trying to make sure that you had at least cited them.
Yep.
We'll bring them up and start talking, shall we?
Yep, go for it.
You've just got to open one up here. There it is. And then try and get it up on the screen. Oh, come on. Got it. I'm looking for the screen share button and missing it. That should put it up there for you.
Perfect.
I'm glad it's perfect for you. I've got several copies, but never mind.
Well, I've only got one here.
Oh, that'll do. Right. There you are. Number one in the way I had them numbered originally, not the way they came up on the cohort screen.
Right.
It's one of my black and white attempts, which I've been trying to do recently.
Okay. What were you trying to achieve apart from the black and white? What was your idea with the composition?
I was intrigued by the textures and the lighting. Actually, it was a sort of evening light grazing across it, I think, from memory. Mm-hmm. And I like boats. I like details of boats. This jumped out at me and said, "Take me."
Okay. Which direction do you think the sun is coming from?
I thought more or less from the left, actually.
Okay. Because I'm looking at the shadow in the bottom corner.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's coming from behind me, doesn't it?
It does look like it is,
yeah.
And then that because of that, it makes me think that you may well have lightened up the rope and the pulley to make them stand out a bit more.
Not particularly. I didn't do any selective fiddling with this one. I did general fiddling.
So that's fine. Then that's exactly what I wanted to know, just to make sure which way around, because obviously lighting is important on all our images. And if you put the light, if you then fiddle with it, to quote your saying, and put the light in the wrong way, then it will look false.
Yep. No, I'm guessing it was coming from behind me, and it certainly is lighting up the rope and the block on the left hand there. I think there's a shadow across the other one. I certainly didn't play selectively with the lighting. I just did an overall adjustment.
Okay, that's fine. I'm trying not to criticize what you've done, but just point out how I see things.
Sure. Yeah, carry on.
One of Bob's obvious and long remembered and fondly remembered sayings is border patrol.
Yep.
And top right hand side, there's a little something crept in off the right hand corner, just below the corner there. Don't know what that is.
Just the edge of something there. Yeah.
Yeah. That's just caught my eye. It's left you thinking about it, and it's taken my eye away from it a bit. Nice compositions, though.
Okay.
Certainly like the subject. Very nice subject.
Yeah, as I say, it appealed to me. I like the arrangement and the textures and the rope against the wood and so forth.
Yep.
A little bit of metal to point it all up.
Yep, I can understand that. Nice. Okay.
One of the parts of the exercise is we've got to choose 5 to go forward. So on to number 2. Now, have you got that one yet, or have I got to go and select it again?
Probably got to select it again, John.
Yeah, okay. I was Kind of thinking I probably would. Oh dear, oh dear. I'm having huge trouble getting the screen share thing to come up now. Ah, there it is. Beg your pardon. There. You should have a picture of the timber buildings, cafe, girls talking.
Yep, I have.
Good.
Okay, again, tell me what you were trying to compose with this. What was your aim for the subject matter of the whole thing?
Initially, I was looking for a photo in that alleyway because I liked the timber buildings and the way they're all together. They're old stables and mews and what have you. And then when I saw the shaft of light picking out the girls having their coffee, I said, right, there's the subject.
Yep.
And that's the result you're seeing in front of you.
Okay. I agree with you picking that as your subject, because that's the first thing that hit my eye when you opened up. You framed it a long way back. Was that deliberate?
I wanted to include a fair chunk of the alleyway and the ambience around them, if you like, the what would you call it, just where they were, their locale, because that is as much a subject as they are. They're what draws your eye, but the rest of it is the feeling I was getting while I was taking the photograph.
Yeah, you've got good leading lines into that as well. That's really good.
That wasn't entirely accidental.
Okay, that's fine. It's all shows what you're doing. Small criticism, top right-hand corner again, that beam that's cutting the corner.
Ah, yeah, the diagonal one.
Yeah, that could be better cropped out, I think, and then it wouldn't distract you, because there's nothing there that's telling the story. Do you see what I mean? Yeah. Not adding to it or taking away from it particularly. It is slightly taken away because it caught my eye. Yeah,
I hadn't even noticed it, frankly.
Quite often that's the case, John. That's why I always get somebody to look at my stuff. And then I throw them all in the bin.
I think that's why we're here.
Yeah, I like the scene very, very much. I think it's really nice. And the way you've processed it into black and white, I think it's very good.
Thank you. It's a fairly new venture. I've not done a lot of black and white, so
yeah, I actually think the scene is. I think you've chosen well to put it into black and white. I think if it was in colour, with the amount of different various textures that they are around in that obvious screen, I think they would detract from your eye a bit.
They would. The girls don't stand out nearly as much in colour. Yeah.
Yes, I agree with that. Nice.
Okay, terrific. Now then, I'm getting a little quicker at cycling these things, I think. Let's get rid of that one and go on to number 3. This is another black and white one. So I'll bring it up in a moment. I hope. I had the screen share icon and then it went and hid again. Got it. Hooray. Sorry if this is being a bit clunky, but how about that one?
Inside of a church.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, using the black and white to emphasize its age, I like.
To be honest, when it was in color, it was very nearly monochrome.
Yeah. Yes, I can see that would be because of the floor being contrasty to the wall.
It's a sort of very dark slate floor and very light stone pillars.
I'm struggling to work out what the point of the subject would be.
Well, it's the windows at the far end again, leading lines, etc.
Yeah, leading lines work. Look, the leading lines work well, but my eye was, when it opened, my eye was drawn to the pulpit.
Yeah, I couldn't get rid of that very easily.
Other than cropping it out.
Cropping it out, I don't think would leave very much. I quite liked the light patterns on the floor from the right there.
Yep.
As part of leading you to the far window, but I wish there'd been an altar or something. It would have made the shot a lot nicer.
Yep. Yeah, this is one of those photos for me where I would take a shot, then move to a different position and take another shot until I really got happy with what I was looking at and what I wanted to try to show.
I took several, and believe it or not, this is the best of them in my opinion. So okay. It's probably an also ran from that point of view. But yeah. I did like the feeling of peace, and I think the photo does convey that as well.
Right. Okay, yeah, I quite like it. I like the tallness, if you like, of it. It certainly gives the impression of it being a very high structured, high ceiling building, and I like that.
Yeah,
that's nice. Okay,
right.
Not a lot to say about that one, really, for me.
That's okay. It's a fairly small church in Holland, actually. That one.
Okay.
Let's see if we can get quicker at bringing up the shots. This one's in colour, so we'll see how we go. Bingo. You should have a traction engine on the screen.
I do. With a lot of dust.
That was what caught my eye. Well, I like machinery. They were playing with traction engines, so I was attracted. And then when I saw the dust with the sun shining through from the far side, I thought, yes, I'd like that as a picture. And it actually came out exactly the way I wanted it to.
Okay. Did you deliberately leave the amount of foreground?
Yes.
Right.
There were some messy bits and pieces around, and I couldn't include much more without an intrusive piece of machinery on the left, which took away from it. Okay. And where I was standing, that was about as much foreground as I could get.
I was thinking about less, actually.
Possibly, just a moment. Could get rid of some. I quite liked it.
No, it's fine. It's the trouble with these critiques is it's subjective to your own eye, isn't it? I like the way you've treated the clouds. That's done quite nicely. It's not in your face. It's just part of the picture.
Yeah, just a graduated filter to pop them up a little bit. Yeah, it was a bit too bright without it.
Yeah, I understand it could be. Yeah, I quite like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think you've achieved your aim there. I like the way that you thought about it to make sure that the sunlight was coming through the dust.
Yeah,
that works well.
Yeah, some dust, some steam, but it's exactly what I want. What I was after. Yeah.
Yeah. That bit works well. My eye keeps on going to the tractor, which is exactly what you want.
Yeah.
I would personally, remove a bit of the foreground.
Okay.
Crop that out a little bit because it's not adding to the story particularly. You can tell it where you are without having huge chunks of it.
Yeah.
And when I put a piece of paper across that bottom, about halfway up towards the tractor, without going to that wire, but you could go up to the wire, and the wire then would become an additional leading line.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want to cut out the shadow of the tractor either.
No. I was doing much the same while you were speaking, and I'm getting similar results, although the foreground doesn't offend me at all. I quite like it.
Okay.
They were actually running the tractor down a fair alleyway, if you like, and then pulling it back with a ploughing engine. So.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I know what you mean.
So I quite liked the alleyway because I was there and I knew what they were doing. Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah, okay.
Okay, let's shift on. Get rid of him. Oh, no. We're into chocolate box territory for this one. Oh, I didn't. There we are. Getting quicker. You should have it on your screen now. Some boat sheds.
Yes, I have.
Again, it was there in front of me, and it screamed, "Take me, I'm pretty," and I did.
I like that. I like the reflections.
Yeah, they're one of the, or part of what really attracted me. There's a couple of things I'd love to get rid of in the background, but they're in the too hard basket for me.
Right.
I could have cropped out that pile of roofing iron or whatever it is, the building material on the left side, but I'd have lost a bit too much of the rock. I wanted a bit of space there before the shed.
Yeah.
And again, there's a red and white boat or something top center.
Yeah, see that.
I wouldn't mind getting rid of, but I don't think it's hugely
it's not too distracting, no.
No.
What is distracting a little bit is that blue thing in the rocks.
The blue plastic bag.
Yeah.
Do you know, I hadn't really registered that one yet. I was looking around the edges rather than the middle. That would probably be doable.
I think that possibly could come out quite easily.
I could turn it into another rock with any luck at all.
Easy enough, yeah. Yeah, I like the colours. I like the fact that you've actually left it so that the orange one on the right is just partially cropped off to make you move into the picture. And I'm not too unhappy about those timbers up at the top or whatever they may be, because they're not too distracting. But I like the composition overall. The foreground takes up a large chunk, but I can see why you need to have that, because without it, you'd start cutting off the reflection.
Exactly, and I wanted the reflections. It was a very nice day, and it was just lending itself to that sort of treatment. As far as the boathouse on the right goes, yes, I'm trying to remember whether I actually cropped back to there or whether it was just naturally back to there, but it doesn't really upset me at all. I quite liked it the way it was. The older boat sheds are a good subject. The newer one really had to be there or be cropped right out completely, I thought.
There's two pictures to me in this.
Mm-hmm.
One being the orange boat shed, of which I'd want to move a bit more into the picture.
Yeah.
I would take the boat shed out completely, that orange one, and just leave the other two because they stand alone quite nicely.
I did consider doing that. I decided against it in the end, but it is one of the obvious try me things. Yeah. I haven't tried fixing it to see how it goes yet.
Well, just a thought as I see it, that's all. But as I said, photography is very much a personal eye view, isn't it? But I think as a composition, you've done very well with that. You've got lots of things going for it. You've got the rule of thirds. You've got the fact you've got 3 boathouses in there, and they say that if you're going to get a collection, do it in 3s. The reflection is very, very nice, and the colours really do pop out at you.
Yeah,
like that.
Righty-ho. Thanks for that one. I must admit I was quite pleased with that. So we'll drop that one out and bring up another one. I'm almost getting this to go at a decent speed now, but he said hopefully. Bingo. How's that one?
Okay, now that's one of your Norwegian ones.
Yeah, actually, yeah, it was. I was way up above the waterline on the top deck of a cruise liner in Stockholm.
Yep.
And watching the evening come in, we saw the sunlight reflecting off the windows of that house there, and I just waited until the light was right. And I took quite a sequence, series of them as the light developed. That was the winner for me.
Yes, I can see that. I like the reflections out into the water. They're very, very nice. The reflective sun.
Yeah.
I'm not sure the big rock does very much for me on the right-hand side.
It's just part of the scenery to me. It didn't attract my attention or say get rid of me. Yeah.
It all comes down to what you're trying to achieve in the photo.
Yeah, I was trying to put that house in its setting, which is definitely a marine setting. If I zoomed in far enough to have just the house and the reflection, I don't think it would mean so much to me. There's the light that's hitting the house is also hitting a couple of patches in the trees, and I quite liked that. And the tops of the trees along the background.
Yeah, I do like it. I like it very much. It's another good one for me. As I say, John, at the end of the day, we see things totally differently. And when you're there on the day and you're
Yeah.
looking at it, say, how best can I compose this? That's what matters.
Hmm.
It's not for me or anybody else to say, oh, well, I wouldn't have that.
Well, they can say it, but I don't have to agree with them.
Exactly right, John. Quite right. I mean, I'm only, my job, I think, is to post my comments to you about what I see, and to point out things that perhaps want tweaking before you go back to Bob with them. But
Yeah.
nothing I would tweak on that one. I think it's quite good. Okay.
Okay, I'm just making a few notes as we go along here.
Yep.
Now I've got to try and drive this thing. Oh, there's a button for what I want to do. Found it. How's that? Right, coming up, the next one. This is another chocolate boxy one. Pretty landscape coming up. If I can just get my blast. Ah, got him. Bingo.
Oh, that's nice.
Bit classic, but I couldn't resist it. I really couldn't.
Maybe so. You've got so many things going for you here. One of the things they were telling me is that if you've got pictures with triangles in and pictures with threes of something in and lots of leading lines, then it tends to be good. You've not gone too heavily on the foreground as well, which I really do like.
Yeah, I like the reflection. I like the reality, and I've sort of split them not quite 50-50. I'd love to have a bit more detail in the cloud at the top, but I'm not too sure what I can do. Going to be doing a little playing with that one, I suspect.
The interesting thing is, John, you can actually see more detail in the reflection of the clouds.
I noticed that, yes. It's peculiar, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. It almost makes you want to sort of copy that and put it above.
Yes, I think that's beyond my present skill level. But I can try a little bit of adjustment and filtration at the top and see if I can bring it up a little bit. A little more detail would be nice.
I think you could perhaps do with bringing the black up a little bit more to make it pop a little bit more.
Yeah.
But the subject matter is really, really nice. What I meant was lowering the black, move the black down a little bit just to make it a little bit darker in the darker bits.
Yeah, intensify, yeah.
Yeah. But you've got to be careful because it's very dark. It's got what I would like to see in the bottom half of the picture, and not in the top half.
Yeah.
Strength that reflection's working, but it's really, really nice photo.
And you really can't get rid of that piece of this top triangle. It just doesn't work. You need it there.
No. You certainly do.
Yeah. Yeah, but never mind. The good news is it came out pretty much the way I saw it and the way I wanted it. So
good.
All I had to do on that one was bring it to life, if you like, in Lightroom.
Yep.
Right. And the next one coming up. Ah, yes. We've had a few comments on this one, so it'll be interesting to see how we go. You got him?
Yeah. So it looks like a paddle steamer to me.
It used to be, I suspect.
Yeah, the side, yeah.
Whether it still is or not, I'm not sure. It's a bit derelict. It was moored near somewhere. In fact, the steam museum I was visiting, where that traction engine was located, this was out the back of the same place. I went prowling around to see what else there was, and this was there.
What was your intention on the composition?
Capture the boat, get the sort of nice, calm backwater feeling of the place.
Right.
I've cropped out a fence in the foreground with the camera, and I've cropped out a bit of mess on the right with the camera, and finished the job a little bit when I was processing.
Okay.
It's since been suggested I could crop out nearly all of the sky and it would look a lot better, but I'm not too sure about that.
No, if you did that, people would say you should have put some sky in.
You're probably right.
One of those situations. No, I don't think you should crop. Personally, I think the sky's all right. There's a distraction on there. Can you see it?
Just to the right of the boat?
No.
Then I'm missing it. What?
It's red in the water.
The buoy in the water, yeah. The little red and green thing.
Yeah.
I just accepted that because it was a buoy and it was planted there. It was part of the scene. But
Yes, I understand that. But sometimes we have to move and remove things in order to make the scene better.
I hadn't actually thought of removing it. You're quite right.
Other than that, I very much like it.
Yeah, I actually waited for 5 or 6 minutes before I took it because there was a guy playing around in a brightly coloured kayak. I had to let him get out of the way. In fact, I think he's behind the boat at this point.
Oh, good. Yeah, I can see the wake in the water. Had you not said that, I would not have recognised that.
Yeah. I couldn't wait long enough for him to go off down the river, and he might not have done.
Yeah, I think it's a nice shot. I do. I would be happy to see that on my wall, actually.
All right. With the buoy removed, of course. Yeah.
With the buoy removed, yeah.
Or buoy for Bob, I suspect. Okay, move on.
Yep.
Getting some funny noises happening in the background here.
You're probably hearing our church bells.
Ah, could be, could be. We've already heard our telephone. So.
That's life.
Sure is. And here we have Obi Creek, which is a local creek at our place. I actually took a photo a while back of a waterfall on the creek for my previous challenge. And I moved down the creek a little bit and took this one. I think I was looking for the diagonal rushing water bit.
Yeah.
I got that. I'm not too sure if it's got enough apart from that. And we've got a fairly light coloured rock in the bottom left that could probably do with darkening.
Yeah, maybe so. But having said that, it's in contrast to the very dark rocks in the middle. And you've got lighter ones over the other side. So that tends to add to bringing the lines in from the right, albeit that you're going upstream to do it.
Yeah.
I think it's quite a nice composition, actually. The tree at the top left bothers me a bit.
Oh, the naked bowl.
Yeah.
Naked trunk, rather.
Yeah, that
can be cropped out, but you lose a little bit of the edge of the stream.
Yeah, I don't think you would lose too much. You'd still get the triangle of the rocks in the left-hand side. You
still get the diagonal line bit that I was after, yeah.
Yeah, you would. And you would remove the distraction, which is important. I think you got the colours spot on this. What kind of timing were you going for? Particularly a lot of moving, smooth water?
I wasn't going to make it milky, but I was wanting better than stopping the droplets.
Okay.
Just about got the water the way I wanted it, frankly.
Yep.
I'm not a huge fan of making everything super milky.
No, I'm not either.
But there again, I very often take two in this sort of situation. One that freezes the water and one that lets it flow for a few seconds or a second or a thick end of a second, whatever it is. I can't remember what this one was, frankly. But it was just a long enough exposure to let a little blur happen. And the stream's actually, or the creek is in spate there. It's a lot of heavy rain before that.
Something that I found fun to do when you've got a situation like this where you don't know whether you want frozen, milky or running is to take it in for each, expose for each three of the end results. And then by using Photoshop, you can actually mask out one of them and just bring in little bits of them that helps to where you need the extra punch.
Yeah, interesting.
For example, when I've tried having a nice smooth water like this, and having where it obviously splashes at the back, say in the middle, in this case, I'd see if there was any droplets that could come up. And mask them in again, bring them back in from one of the others that are on a layer. It was fun. It's fun to do, fun to have a look at, because it makes you think about things differently.
Right. It's worth tucking away in my mind there, but I'm not actually a Photoshop user yet.
Okay. What are you using?
Lightroom.
Okay.
Keeping it pretty simple and getting as much of it done in the camera as I possibly can.
Yep. Okay.
It's a habit I picked up when I was doing all my work on slide film.
Yeah.
Enough?
Okay. Yeah. I like the greens on that in particular. They complement that quite nicely.
Yeah. This is about 4 kilometers from where I live, and it's a very green area. It's a mountain inland from the coast.
Yeah.
Well, a tall hill rather than a mountain. Okay, let's find the next one here. Yep. Coming up. Do you have a rainy window in front of you?
I do. It's
right.
Abstract, isn't it?
It's meant to be, yeah.
Hmm.
I focused on the rain and let the garden blur.
I think that works quite nicely, actually. I'm not an abstract person myself, and I struggle with abstract stuff. Quite nice. I could say no more than that, John. Just quite nice.
That's not okay. My cup of tea. It's a like it or don't like it type picture, that one.
Yeah.
And I was just experimenting, and it turned out the way I expected it to, which is quite a gratifying thing to happen.
Well, that's what it's all about, isn't it, at the end of the day?
Well, it's what I've been focusing on for my last 10 challenges, basically.
Okay.
My mission was to improve my visualization.
Yes. And you're right. You have to go through all the hoops to find what suits you.
Yeah. Coming up, the next one. If you go in threes, you're probably going to want to get rid of the right-hand one of these.
I really like that.
I did too when I took it. It's some summer huts on up in the mountains in Norway.
Yep, definitely like that. I don't think that the one on the right detracts you too much from the whole story.
Good, because I quite like it myself. But a few other people have said, should be either cropped out or more of it in there. I'm not so sure.
It doesn't do either. It doesn't, because the center objects are very strong. Those two in the center. Yeah. I think they're enough to outweigh the two end ones. Well, you've also got to balance that rock above them as well by it.
Yeah, true enough. And I must admit, I tend to think the way you're thinking. It works for me. And if you crop too close to that rock, it becomes a real distraction rather than just a discrete rock.
Yep, I like that one. I do like that one a lot.
Yeah, as I say, I do a lot of my framing in camera when I'm composing, and this is a prime example of it.
Yep.
Good.
All right, that's a good one, that.
Nothing more to say, huh?
No. When it's good, it's good.
Oh, I like that.
Okay. Too much lily pad. Because your story, which is shown by your sharp focus on the lily flower, is being pulled away by those green lily pads.
Yeah, you're not the first one to say that. And the out of focus leaf top left is a particular distraction for some people.
Definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
And of course, there's Bob's favourite of the distraction on the border patrol of the dead one at the bottom.
Oh, I hadn't actually scanned that one.
Bob will be pleased that I've kept this going.
I'll tell him you're looking out for him, yeah.
Yeah. I like the flower. I like what you've done with the flower, and you've gone for the focus, a deeper focus, a depth of field on that. But the whole thing is just distracting with all the other pads around it. Definitely, I'd crop that down. One or two of those pads, yes.
I think you're right on that. Sorry, we're overlapping each other there. Yep. Point taken. Okay, let's move on. I don't think that one's a strong contender.
I don't think so either.
Actually, I don't think this next one is, but we'll see how we go.
Don't preempt me.
Well, it's not one of my favourites, put it that way.
Okay, that's bright and cheery.
Yep. That's what caught my eye in the first place.
Right, you do the border patrol and tell me where the problem is on this.
If you talk about the wheel on the left, that has been noted.
Yep. Yeah, that's the one that hit me straight away.
Yeah, I'm not too bothered about the doormat. That's part of the doorway, but the wheel on the left, yes, I'd like to get rid of that.
The leading lines are conflicting. You've got the grates going from bottom into the left, and it's running out of the picture. Yeah. And then you've got the A-frame dragging you into the picture, and the big, tall, whatever it may be, taking you out of the picture at the top. It's just pulling my eye all over the place.
Yes, I've had it suggested that I should crop out the doorway, lose the top of the flag thing, and it would still work. I'm not so sure. I don't know if it's even worth taking that far. I liked it when I took it, and I like it a little less each time I look at it.
Yeah, no, it's not a favourite, John, of mine, for sure.
So I preempted correctly, did I?
Yeah, and I think, I mean, you could do other things like taking the leaves and the sticks out of off the grating and things like that.
Yeah, it's probably going a bit too far for me.
Yeah, understood.
Okay, well, we'll go for a bit of minimalism here and let's see what happens. Coming up now.
Well, the subject matter, obviously being the boy, caught my eye straight away. And I like this.
So you say you do or you don't?
I do like this. This is one of those photos for me that I would try putting it at, going at odds with convention and turn it 45 degrees so that everything was going corner to corner.
Oh yeah.
Just because it seemed, to my way, it's screaming out for that. I think you're right with being so far back from it. I like that. I really do like that. And I like all the different colours of blues in there and the sandbar that you can see underneath it. I think that's nice.
Yeah, my title for it is Ebb Tide. It was racing out from right to left, and the sandbar was slowly coming up. And the deep channel's actually the bottom of the picture, so it shades away from the bottom towards the horizon.
So it's going out to the right, do you say?
The tide is going from right to left. You can see the wake round the buoy.
I would then, yes, even more so, I'd turn that into a 45 degrees so the water would run out to the left-hand corner. So that's something that's, I don't know why I say that, but that's how my perception of that has gone straight away.
Right.
I do like it. I like the contrasty colours around everything.
And
Mother Nature has a habit of putting all the right colours around if we only look with our eyes.
Yeah. I must admit, I like the layered effect I got from the blues and the sand and the horizon at the background. The trees act as a stop in the back, which quite worked for me. It's pretty much what I thought I saw, and I waited for a boat to disappear before I took it.
And you know what's going to happen if you turn it through 45 degrees, somebody would say, "Oh, but your water's all falling out to the left of the screen." Yeah, that was the intention.
I suspect turning it 45 degrees is something that's easier done in camera than in post-processing, frankly. There's not much to play with there. You'd lose an awful lot.
Right. Okay. We'll talk about that when we go off live.
Okay. Last one coming up.
You realise that what I'm doing is if you show this to Bob, he's going to say, "Oh yeah, that's a good idea. I'll show John what Roger's talking about."
All right. Could do worse.
Or a street scene.
A street scene at night, yes.
Yeah, I like street scenes at night.
And no tripod involved either. I used the trunk of a tree.
Oh, good man.
I didn't have a tripod with me.
Yeah, they're a pain to be carrying around, but as a photographer, you got to.
Sometimes, yes, but I'm quite adept at using handy tree trunks and signs and bollards and whatever's handy. And
you got some good leading lines there, John. I like that, and the distance, and it's going the perspective off to the right hand side, and that single guy with his arm that's just slightly blurred.
Yeah,
tells the story that you're walking along the street. I like that.
That grew on me quite a lot after I took it.
Yeah, that's another one that grabs me. The blue, yes. If you was to crop it, I just held a piece of paper up to that. If you was to turn it into a square print size format,
getting rid of the left.
Getting rid of that left blue altogether would work really well, I think.
Up to and including the blue doorway.
Get rid of the blue door so that it just sort of crops into that first. You get rid of the whole of the first row of windows, and it crops into that that sunshade.
Oh yeah, got you. You're pretty much cropping down between the blue doorway and the first of those shades. Yeah.
Yes. And as long as you leave enough surround of the window on the left of it, that would work. The blue light is distracting a little bit. And it's one of those things that the more you're looking at it, the more your eye is being brought over that way.
Yeah, I must admit, I quite liked the blue myself, but I see exactly what you mean.
It's your photo, you should do. But it comes down to the photo should be telling a story to me.
Yeah.
And the story in that is the guy walking down the street, which emphasizes the fact that it is a street and it's a long street and it's all going down to the one side.
Fair enough. Yes, I must admit, one of the things I quite liked was the blue shading into red as you went up there. But
yeah, I see that.
Yeah, I must try it both ways, I think.
That's not the story to me, you see.
No, fair enough.
Only my opinion. I'm not trying to say it's rubbish because it's not.
Yeah, trying to make a virtual copy and try it both ways, I think.
Absolutely. And there's nothing wrong with having them both anyway.
Indeed, yeah. There you are.
What we got next, is that it?
That's it. That's the 15.
Okay.
What I have to do next is actually come with a get it down to 5, I think it is, for submission.
Well, I've got I've got 5 that I would put up. Boat shed.
Yeah.
mountain triangle,
Yep.
wheelboat, I've called it.
Yep. That's a backwater on the River Murray, that one.
Mountain huts,
Yep.
and the last one, street.
All right.
For my taste. And then second to that, I've got two backups, the buoy in the water and the ropes.
Right. That gives me some scope, doesn't it?
They're only my suggestions, John. At the end of the day, you have to pick one for yourself.
My choice, and it's going to depend a little bit on how some tweaking turns out, whether I tweak and submit the tweaked version and so on. Yeah.
Quite right. Quite right.
Well, thanks very much for the chat.
Okay.
I'll cut it off at that, and thank you for standing in.
Anytime you want me to do this, John, just call.
Thanks a lot, Roger. Bye.